Remember we made the noodles and demonstrated how to make them a couple nights ago. I'm gonna go ahead and I took them out of the freezer. See, I bagged them up like this. And I didn't take them out of the freezer way ahead of time like I did my first time of doing it. But I pressure cooked the chicken in my Tupperware pressure cooker, and I done them almost done to where all that juices get in there. And then I got my other pot out, which this is a nice big aluminum pot, and all that pepper I put into that chicken is all on the side here. So it boiled up in there, so don't pay attention to that. Anyway, as you can see, there's a nice broth with this, the chicken, and I didn't put a lot of chicken in, but I did use the broth and some of the chicken, and I'm anxious to see how these noodles really cook up and everything, because I've only done them once, and that was years and years ago, and I found the recipe. So we're over here at the stove tonight. My grandson, when he come in, he said, "How are you fixing them noodles, Grandma?" And he said, I said, "What do you mean? You mean chicken noodles? What do you mean, how am I fixing them?" And he said, "Are they the noodles or are they the runny kind?" Which meaning, I mean, he's 18. What he meant was, are they your noodles or are they your chicken noodle soup? Hold on a minute. That scanner does that every time I get on. There it goes. Anyway, sometimes that scanner, it makes noises and it doesn't say anything. It just continually makes noises. So in the morning when my husband gets up, he says, "Did you turn the scanner off?" I said, "Yeah, I was making them Morse code noises again." But anyway, this is the way I'm going to do these noodles. We've got the broth boiling now. So for you and I both, this is the first time that I can remember doing these type that we made a couple nights ago, where we dried them and froze them. And by the way, it took a little longer to dry them than it said 30 to 45 minutes. It took me 2 hours till I felt comfortable that they was dry enough. So we've got that going. And what I like to do, and I don't know why, I just like to do this, I shredded up some carrot, just one plain carrot. I peeled it and shredded it, so I'm going to put that down in there. It's going to look like that's what I put in my chicken soup. So now that this is boiling, we'll just simply open up. Let me get my legs straight here. There we go. Open up these noodles. Let me turn that up just a little bit. And we'll dump them in there and we'll all see how they turn out. I got the mashed potatoes done. They're, I don't know if you can see them over there or not. See that thing with the handle sticking out? That's a bowl of mashed potatoes. When I went to pick my grandson up at school, Tom already had them peeled and on the stove for me. I think he's anxious to get these noodles and mashed potatoes. So, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and stick them in there and see. So this is a quart, almost a quart bag of our noodles, and I'll stick them in there. And then I'll see how many I think I need to put in there. So I showed you one batch, and after we got off, I made 2 more. And one batch of them, which is very, very cheap to make and easy, will make a bag of noodles that big, a quart bag. So I just went ahead and made 2 more. They was so easy. So I'll put 2 quarts in there right now. And now remember, these were a recipe I had for a long time. And it said Aunt Valma's noodles. So we'll see how this goes. Should cook up. Turn that up just a little bit to keep that into a boil for right now. So they're looking good so far. And I think what I'm going to do, I've never measured them wrong before. I hope I'm not wrong this time with these new kind of different noodles. I'm going to go ahead and put all 3 of them in. So you just triple the batch that you make that I showed you. And probably what I'll do when I'm either watching a show or something, I'll probably make some up and keep putting them in the freezer. And that way I'll have them when I need them. It's so much easier. And these are not going to be like when I make them the other way. There's usually a little flour on them and it makes like a real thick gravy. And hi Carol, how are you? Tammy, I'm making the noodles I done 2 nights ago. Remember I made, they was called Aunt Velma's noodles. And whoever that was, I wanted to try her noodles. I'd had that recipe put away for years and forgot about it. But yeah, I'm trying them out to see how they're going to do in this chicken broth. So I took the chicken and I pressure cooked it in my Tupperware pressure cooker. And I took it out and put it made a really beautiful broth. And that's what I like about that Tupperware pressure cooker, is you can have beans or broth or anything like that real quick. And then I put the chicken down in this pot to finish it out. And that's what I'm making. Those Aunt Valma noodles that we did 2 nights ago. And like I said, I took and I done 3 batches. I showed you guys how to do 1, and then after we got off, I done 2 more batches, just like that. So it wasn't no big deal. So now we're at this point where we're boiling these noodles, and I took the chicken off the bone, and what I did was I bought chicken thighs and cleaned them and pressure cooked them a little bit and just took some hunks of meat off. I didn't shred it or anything. So these are doing pretty nice so far. You can see. You could probably see down in there too. So they're cooking up. It'll be a big thing of them. So I don't know how many you would cook for, but this would probably, I don't know about my family. I don't know how many it would feed because they like noodles. Depends on how well you like them. I'm glad you're good, Carol. I seen online where you was going to be doing a crocheting class. Or you're the one that was going to start that, wasn't you? That's something my sister-in-law tried to teach me 40 years ago, and I never really picked up on it real well. But now that I'm older, I might not be so distracted. Yeah, these are looking pretty good. And you could see, I don't know about that one there. I don't feel comfortable about that piece of chicken for some reason. Let me see here. Looks like it's got a, I don't know what it's got, but it doesn't look comfortable to me. I'll throw it away. It looks like maybe some of the gristle was on it or something. Hi, Deb. So it's really cooking up. Now I'll just turn that heat down to about a little less than a medium, because this pan is real heavy aluminum. I absolutely love this pan too. You can put it in the oven or like my Tupperware pans, but I've had this one for a while, and it's good. It'll cook. It's like cast almost. Hi, Lisa. My sister-in-law just wrote me and texted me, and she said she's making cabbage rolls. I said, well, why don't you do it live? And she said, no, I'm too shy and I'm backward. I won't do that. So I think these noodles are going to cook up nice to go with the mashed potatoes. And it's got that little bit of carrot that doesn't make much difference. So I might open a can of peas or something like that. And that great big eclair cake I made last night, it's way too big. I don't know how in the world we're ever going to eat it. Somebody's going to have to eat some of that. It's good. I didn't eat any last night. I don't like to go to bed on a full stomach. So first thing I got up this morning, I made me an egg, a scrambled egg, and I made the guys an egg. And Tom's little puppy, she ate my egg, and I hand fed it to her. So I didn't get any of that. So what I did was I went to the refrigerator and done the next best thing. I got a piece of that eclair cake, and it was good. But like I said on that live video, I wouldn't suggest putting 2 of your frostings in it. Just 1. I thought the frosting was a little thick. And these are cooking up. So they went from froze to this. They're limbering up now. And they're cooking up real good. After a while, I'm going to get my big head of cabbage out and make some, shred up some cabbage and make some cabbage and corned beef. The corned beef's in a can, so my photo bomber's back here, but I can't see him behind me. He's walking around. The eclair cake, Carol, I'll tell you, you'd be welcome to some of it. I told my daughter today when I left from babysitting, I said, I'm getting all this food, and if the guys don't eat it, it'll sit there. See, I got that potato salad I made, and so we're trying to eat on it. So when I came home from babysitting, we both had a little plate of it. And then I've got the eclair cake in there, and I had ham salad I made, which it went pretty quick because I didn't make a lot. And now it's going to be noodles and mashed potatoes. So it's nice to have something made ahead of time. That way you don't have to come in every night and cook. Tomorrow night I'll be going to church, so we'll just pull everything out and eat what we have, if there's any. If not, I'll do a quick cheeseburger or something. But later I'm going to do the cabbage, so I'll probably take it to babysit with me tomorrow. Yeah, these are like, let me see here, about that wide. I cut them just a little bit wider than I normally do. They're chicken and noodles, Holly. Chicken and noodles. Let me see here. Let me get me a... So you can find the video of these on my profile page, and just add me as a friend if you're not a friend, and keep scrolling down and you'll find these noodles. They're not dumplings. So there we go. They're still got a little mild boil to them. And I didn't put a lid on them because I want that broth to cook down into those noodles. And the steam to go out, but the broth to stay in the noodles. So, what's everybody having for dinner tonight? Thanks, Holly. It does look good. Smells good. I think I'm going to try to go with these noodles from now on. The ones I make is delicious and they're eat up real fast, but personally I kind of like the way these do and how easy they are to make. Hi, Dodie. Carol, you can almost smell them, huh? Well, I can smell them. They're right here in my face. And my whole kitchen and living room, we have a ranch style kitchen and living room. It's all open. So the living room's behind me. The kitchen is here. So I love it. I've always wanted the ranch style because I can have the big TV on and I can play Christmas music when I'm doing Christmas. Or so the whole front of the house smells like noodles, chicken and noodles. And these are cooking up nice, but I just want to make sure they're really done. And these are the noodles that little secret ingredient was the baking powder. So I don't know what that did, but it did something to it. Oh, you're going to eat out before church, Carol? What are you having? Do you know yet? Of course, there's a lot of stuff out there you can eat out. Could eat out at Pam's. These are looking pretty nice, guys. And that was 3 little batches. A batch takes 1 egg, or no, 2 eggs, and 1 1/4 cup of flour and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and salt, a little bit of salt. It's on that video. Anyway, it's nothing much to make it at all. So it's not much to make them at all. It's cheap. So I went ahead and made 3. So I had I think I done I done 3 batches too after we got off. And I mean, I had them done within 15 minutes, and I love the way we cut them in 3s and then roll them out real thin. And I'm surprised that these wasn't as thin as I rolled them out. And I think it's that baking powder that kind of thickens them up a little bit. I got flour or something on me. So make sure when you make them that you roll them real thin. I mean, you could see on that video, I had them up in my hand and they was laying over. They were pretty thin. Carry my little Tupperware bottle with me. I got 3 sizes of these. I got the great big one I drink. That holds 4 bottles of water. And then this one's what I do when I'm walking around. I just happen to think. Someone told me this morning that some of MacArthur water is under boil advisory. So maybe I better check before I drink any more. Might not be down here, but I better not take a chance. This is starting to, the broth is cooking into the noodles really nice. Probably McDonald's. Oh. Huh. I buy my husband and my little pup, she's 11. 10 or 11 now. I get her a plain cheeseburger there at McDonald's. McClure's has usually got good beans and cornbread, and some of their stuff's really good. So, Carol, you live in Benton County, don't you? You live in, like, MacArthur area? I know Main Eatery's got some good chicken noodles and just different stuff. I like their Reubens. I go down and get me a Reuben and stuff once in a while. Okay, so these are cooking up really, really nice. So I'm happy with them. I wanted to do this so that you would all know if you made some, because one of the ladies said she was going to make some this weekend. So I wanted to make sure they're turning out really good. And see, that broth is just not real thick, but just enough to make it good and tasty. A lot of times my family, my children grew up, we would throw the noodles right over the mashed potatoes and they'd eat them that way. You hear them boiling? I'll make you a plate here in a minute. I just want to make sure they're really done. There's something about cooking and food and creating that I just love. So far, Carol's going to go out to eat. Let me see here what this one said. How do you keep your noodles from soaking up all the broth overnight? I have had that issue. Well, if you're going to make soup, then you make a lot of broth. But if you're going to make the noodles like this and then I put them in the refrigerator overnight, they do seem to soak that up, but I'm trying to get them to soak a lot up right now. But just add your little broth or water with them and heat them up. That's all you need to do. If your broth's real rich, you only have to add just a little bit of water, and they'll come back to where you want them to be. But I'm pretty happy with these noodles. Yes, I'm pretty happy with them. I know they're going to taste good. And see, the way, what we were talking about the other night when I was making these, we were talking about maybe making a Johnny Marzetti or a lasagna noodle out of these. And I think they would be good for that because they're cooking up nice. So if you made like the long lasagna noodles thin and laid them and put that spaghetti sauce or whatever kind of sauce you put over it, your hamburger, them's going to cook in the oven pretty good because these are cooking up nice. So I thought about doing some and making a Johnny Marzetti, where you cook the hamburger and then the tomato sauce and onion and all that. Carol, hearing them boils making you sleepy? Yeah, they would. I tell you, I came home today, Carol, from babysitting. The baby's still sick, but she's better. How I can tell she's better? I prayed over that little thing. Today, she was into everything. and throwed things all over the place and toys and stuff, and I was forever picking up, and then I had to play dolls with her and stuff, which I loved it because it made me feel good that she's better already. And she ate. She wanted macaroni. I fixed her that and some juice. And I came home today and sat down and was talking to my husband and fell asleep just like that. Finally, he kind of patted me. You know, I don't even know what we was talking about. I just fell asleep. I never do that. And he patted me and he said, somebody's beeping you on the phone. I looked at the time and it was almost 10 minutes after 3, and I had to get out to the school. So I hurried up and ran out of here. I hope I sleep tonight because of that little episode. So these are really soaked up nice. I can't look behind me there. So we'll go ahead, and what I'm going to do, I think they're cooked up nice. Let me see here. Let me get a little... Let's see if they are for sure. I don't want to burn my mouth. They feel just a little yet like they could go a little bit longer. They look really rich. And that juice is cooking out of them, cooking into them. Let's see. I'm going to let them go a little bit longer. This one here is a little thinner. I'll tell you what. You know them good egg noodles you buy in the store? I personally like them, but a lot of people like the homemade. Well, this kind of tastes like them and absorbs the chicken broth or beef broth, whatever you want to use. But they taste like the egg noodles, like really good. Well, Carol, you know you can stop right over here and get you a bowl of these. Said that. Now here I am drinking this water again. I hope it's not boil advisory. I don't think my stomach would know if it was or not anyway. I think it was over toward the Dollar General that way. All right. So now we've got these almost done. Them's good. I'll probably just eat a little bowl of them without any mashed potatoes or anything. I remember one year my grown children came for Thanksgiving. We had our 31-foot hallway back here, and we had tables and chairs and grandkids and kids, and one of the people said, "This is a whole lot of starches for dinner." Well, you know, I was in the cabin for 16 years and I made biscuits and noodles and never, ever, ever thought or learned about starches and all that stuff. And I thought, well, what did they mean by that? Well, here I had noodles, mashed potatoes, I had homemade bread rolls, and cakes and pies, and I had a lot of starches, you know, and then we had the corn. So yeah, that was a lot of starches. And after that, I got thinking about it. And that's just the way Tom's people eat. They eat a lot of starches and stuff. When you go up to my people in Lancaster, Ohio, they'll have like finger foods and stuff. And, you know, a little here and there. My brother-in-law done a deep fried turkey. It was delicious. Stuff like that. It's not a whole lot of, but my sister does make noodles. She gets the reams or something, does a good job at it. But that's for Thanksgiving. But for Christmas and stuff, it's usually finger foods and stuff. So, yep, I think we're about got these. They all look like they're really done. And you can see they're absorbing that liquid. So I will get a little plate or bowl or something and show you how they eat them. Let me get up here. Tupperware plates. Here's the mashed potatoes. Buttery mashed potatoes. They're not fake, they're real ones. And we'll just show you how they usually do it here. What I'll do is I'll just turn this off, put the lid on. Hello. How are you guys doing? I'll take the lid and put over this, and then when they're ready to eat, they'll come out and I'll dish them up a plate. But this is the way they usually do it. They'll take them noodles and put right over that, right over the mashed potatoes. So there you are. I don't think I'm going to have any peas or anything. I think this is enough. Turn that off. So there you are. That's what our noodles look like that we had the other night. And they look pretty good. Yum, yum. So they do work. So if you make them, they do work. Just make sure you boil your broth or your water. If you do water and you're going to make something else out of them, like buttered noodles or whatever, make sure you put salt in your water. That way, there's something about putting a little salt in the water that makes them good. You can make butter parsley noodles. Personally, I think I'm going to make some of them sometime. Hello, Shirley. It's hard to read your names because the steam from this are kind of steaming up my glasses. Have you ever opened your oven and never thought about it, and all of a sudden you can't see because your glasses are steamed? So anyway, this is what they look like, and I will be making some cabbage and corned beef here after a bit, just to have it ready for tomorrow. So there you go. There's your mashed potatoes and the noodles we made the other night. And you can see that little bit, ouch, that's hot. A little bit of carrot pieces and a little pepper in it and stuff. So there you go. Anyway, God bless you. And I hope you have a good evening. I'll try to jump back on here later and see what we can do. Because I need to get that cabbage cut up. So anyway, God bless you, and I will talk to you later. And I hope you make some of these noodles, because they are good and they are easy, and they don't take very long. The longest thing about them is just drying them, and that's only a couple hours. Hi, Faye. Well, I got the noodles made. Did you see them? These are the ones I made the other night. So they're done. And I know Tom is just waiting to get his hands on them. So I better get off of here and dish him up a plate and say, hey, Tom. I think Trace's dad's coming to get him, to take him out to eat. And I said, well, you can always eat some later. It's up to you. But hey, guys, if you want some noodles, you better come and get them. Anyway, God bless you. It's always fun being on here with y'all. Pamela Angelo, my granddaughter, I seen where she made some of these noodles. Pamela, how'd they turn out? Did you cook them yet? Or did you dry them and freeze them? I don't know if she did or not. Faye, they taste pretty good. They're good. Can't beat them. I'm going to put the lid on these and let them just sit there and even tender up more. So God bless you all. I hope you have a good evening. And I hope, Carol, that you have a good supper. And if you don't, just knock on my front door and I'll give you some. God bless you. Bye-bye.